Voila, theoretically we are live. I don't know exactly. There's no one at the moment, and I don't see anything on my YouTube channel at the moment. But hopefully we are live, and in any case, it will be recorded. That's the first video of a series that we will do with Rachel. Hi, Rachel.
Hello, I'm so excited to be here.
Yes, and you are here from the other side of the world. I'm in London, and you are in
California
in
in the
California. Yes,
US.
yes.
Yeah.
And we met through someone we know who also lives in California, in San
Mhm.
Francisco, Alan. Hi, Alan, if you're on the other side. And actually, when Alan sent me a message, he told me that someone wanted to create a WordPress site, and he was just asking me, would you be interested in partnering with Rachel? That was her name, your name. And then we had a chat, and we thought that maybe it would be more interesting to create the site together live here on YouTube and Facebook and Twitter, and show to everyone how you can create a WordPress site. So it won't be done in a single session. That will take a while. It will be in a few, probably done in a few weeks. We'll see. And the purpose is to create a new website for you. You already have a website, Rachel.
Yes, I already have a website that I created myself, but it has never been what I really dreamed of and hoped for. So I reached out to Alan and asked, because I knew he was well connected, and asked if he knew anybody that he really trusted to help me build a new website on WordPress.
Yes, and that's what we will do. So we will start really from the very beginning, from setting up your hosting and installing WordPress, and then we will discover together. That will be the plan for today. What WordPress looks like behind the scenes from the very beginning, because it can be a bit overwhelming. I guess that's what you told me before we started the recording. So we will do everything so that everyone can understand how to create their own WordPress site. We will also share all the resources that I'm using with the audience, so that you can also get your own hosting, also get your own plugins, and that's it basically. So let's start maybe if you're ready by sharing your screen to set up the server that we will set up on Cloudways. That's the hosting company
Absolutely.
I'm using. Okay, so I can see it. So I will click on the little button there. There's no password on the screen. Sure.
No,
Everything,
I don't think
everything,
so.
everything is good. Okay,
Everything looks good.
let's add it to the stream. Oh, by the way, since I'm there, what I do is I will just do something on my own. Yes, I'm just removing my bookmarks on my screen if I have to share my screen. Okay,
Yeah.
perfect. So we have decided before starting this live stream to take the smallest server with DigitalOcean. So yeah, you have to know that Cloudways was acquired, I think it was last year, by DigitalOcean. So they offer you to set up your hosting with different providers, cloud providers. It could be Vultr, it could be Linode, which is pretty nice. It could be AWS, Amazon, or Google Cloud Platform. But we will go for the easy solution, which is DigitalOcean. That's nice. And as you can see, even if there's a red warning, you can choose the smallest version for now. And you have picked at the very top there. You have picked WordPress, as we can see, the first option, and we'll take the small one at 1 gigabyte. Okay, we don't have to take care of this red warning at the moment. And you are in San Francisco, so yeah, you can choose the location which is closer to you. And yeah, you can click on launch now.
Oh, exciting. So can you tell me what Cloudways is? Like, why am I going through this instead of just going directly to WordPress.com?
So WordPress.com, it's managed by the parent company of WordPress, Automatic, which is headed by Matt Mullenweg. one of the co-founders, the main founder, I would say, of WordPress, and they offer their own hosting for WordPress. But WordPress, if you go on WordPress.org, maybe you can open it in a new tab while it's adding the server. So if you go on WordPress.org, so not WordPress.com, but WordPress.org. Yeah, is it WordPress.org?
Yes.
Yes. So on
WordPress.org.
WordPress.org, if you click on Get WordPress there, let's say, okay, you could basically download WordPress, the full package of WordPress for free, and put it anywhere you want manually. So you could upload WordPress anywhere you want manually. So if you run your own server, like we used to do old school, in the basement in a rack, you could have your own physical server, and you could put WordPress, install it on your own server if you want. Totally free. It's open source. So the software itself, you don't pay for the software. You can run it on WordPress.com. So there it's also a one-tap install, a one-click install. So you just click and it sets it up for you on WordPress.com. Or you can do it somewhere else. You could do it on SiteGround, which is also nice, but we do it on Cloudways because I prefer Cloudways. And actually, I switched from SiteGround to Cloudways. So that's just a place where hosting company where we will host a free open source version of WordPress. How long does it take? 5 minutes?
This is approximately 5 minutes.
Okay, so you have 5 minutes of extra questions.
I love it. Okay, so basically Cloudways is the server where my website will be hosted. So my current website is built on Squarespace,
Mm-hmm.
which so basically my current website is hosted on Squarespace's server, which means that they own it technically. And then what we're doing instead is we're creating a WordPress site on Cloudways so then I can really be the primary owner. Is that a good explanation?
Yeah, exactly. Also, technologically, because it's WordPress, you could move it easily from one place to the other. So if at some point you don't like Cloudways for some reason and you want to move to another hosting company, you've got plenty of them on the web. And so you can move your WordPress site, you can migrate the WordPress site to another destination because it's an open source technology that you can just move around between servers. You could also have your own, as I said, physical box, and put it on your own box in your basement or in your office and host it there. But yeah, we do it on Cloudways, but it could be anywhere. So there's no I think in English you say lock-in. There's no lock-in,
Yeah.
no vendor lock-in, no provider lock-in. You can just put it anywhere you want. So that's the main advantage. And we'll have a look when it will be ready. But the advantages of being on Cloudways or other providers like that is that you can manage your server behind the scenes. So you can have a look at the logs, so the logs of the visitors. If there's any issue with I don't know, a bot attack or too much crawling from certain bots, because sometimes you can have I would say nasty bots that crawl your site too heavily once you start getting some attention or some traffic, and it can slow down your site. So there you can just mitigate all of those things. You can tweak the settings of your server. So it's much more flexible, I would say. It can feel also a bit overwhelming when you start, because you say, okay, I don't need to do all of that. I just
Yeah.
want to rely on Wix or on Squarespace to take care of all the hosting part for me. But you don't need to do anything. So in a few minutes, when WordPress will be ready, you don't need to do anything, I would say, hosting wise in the early days. It's just when you start being more also sophisticated in terms of features and stuff that you want to add to your site, then yes, then you start digging into the server side. But I think that I haven't touched the server settings of most of my WordPress sites for ages. So it's you don't need to be a DevOps
Yeah.
specialist to use Cloudways. And the cool thing is that, as I said, they are available 24/7, really 24/7, because they have people working all over the place in the world. So you can ask them questions via a chat. So you don't need to go to a ticket system and wait for 2 days. So that's pretty cool. So if you have any issue, or if you at some point you feel okay, I've got some, let's say, speed issues or something like that. Could you explain me what creates maybe a bottleneck on my site? And they will explain you in simple terms. And so it's pretty.
Yeah, I think that's why I'm really excited about, because currently being on Squarespace, again, I did it myself and I have no web development design experience or coding, really very minimal experience. But even me being entry level, I'm getting to the point where there's certain features and things that I want on my Squarespace site, which it won't allow me to do when when I reach out to their customer service. They're just either tell me that it's not possible or that they don't know how to do what I want. And the things I want, I think, are pretty basic, like a search feature and certain filters,
Mhm.
and certain customization. Like maybe I want to lessen the gap between two word blocks, and they do make it easy to plug and play, but I don't like the limitations there. So, oh,
Yeah.
it looks like it popped up here.
Yeah, apparently it's there. So next thing we will do is okay. Let me maybe make this screen bigger so that I can guide you better. Nice. So you just have one. So basically, also yes, what you have to understand on Cloudways, you've got a switch at the top between servers and applications. So at the
Oh,
top
got it.
left of the screen. So if you click on the toggle there, you see you've got your application. So that's the first WordPress site that's on your server. But if you toggle back to server, you've got the server.
Mm,
The cool thing also, I mean, we would just create one site at the moment, but you're not limited to one site on your server. You could have 2, 3, 4, 5 sites on the server, and what you pay is per server. Okay. So if
mm,
at some point you've got a site, a side project, and you want to create another website on another domain, also on WordPress, you can create it on the same server. Obviously, once you start adding a few websites, you need to scale up the capacity of the server. But at the moment, for instance, I've got 2 servers on Cloudways. On one of them, I've got 6 websites. On the other one, I've got 8 websites. So I've got
wow.
14 websites on 2 servers. One is $50. The other one, I think it's two servers of $50. And on the second one, I've got one of those websites which attracts 10,000 visitors, no, 15,000 now a day.
Crazy.
And it's still on a $50 server, and it's running fine. So, but yeah, you can have multiple websites on the same server, and a website is called an application. WordPress is an
Okay.
application. So if we
Okay.
go there, and if you click there somewhere, I guess double click there. Here you see you are okay. That's fine. As they tell you, okay, you can add
Oh,
multiple websites, and
okay.
they've got all the tricks. Okay, so don't click on the little eye next to the
Yeah.
password. I mean, we've got your email there, but I guess you share your email with your fans, so I guess
It's fine.
it's
Yeah.
not a big deal. So as you can see, you've got a weird URL, I would say, a weird looking URL, WordPress, and then numbers and blah, blah, blah. So in a minute, we'll just go inside. And if we go directly from the admin panel in Cloudways, I even think that we will be logged in automatically. But maybe we will just, turn off the screen once you click. But then when you will be clicking there, you will be directly in the admin of WordPress. So as we speak now, your WordPress site is ready. And if you click on the application URL, so in the first section, so just under application URL, so no, a bit more on the right, go
Right
down,
here.
go down. No, just go
Oh,
down.
right here.
The
I
first
see.
URL there. So if you click on the button there, click, and you have to share another tab. So that's your site. It's technically ready. So
It was
when
easy.
yeah. So when you create a new WordPress site, by default, there's some not lorem ipsum, but some dummy content, and we
Mhm.
will have a look at that in a moment. But as you can see, you've got this URL there at the top, which is the current URL of your website. So if someone goes there, they will see this website, which is obviously not the final one. And we will be working on this URL over the next few weeks. And when we will be ready to switch, what we will do is we will go to your registrar where you have acquired your domain, your domain name, rachelfutsaro.com, and we will just change the DNS there to point them to the server. And then in a few minutes, I mean, obviously it has to be propagated all over the world, but in a few minutes it will go from this URL to your domain. But in the beginning, you just work on this staging URL, I would say, until the moment when you're ready. So yeah, so we'll have a look at what it looks like behind the scenes. So there's not much to say at the moment in terms of a server configuration, but maybe I can just show you a bit what's on the left, but we'll come back to that later. But so you've got the monitoring section. It shows you the logs. It's not the analytics like Google Analytics, but it shows you the logs, so traffic. There won't be anything, I guess, at the moment, but it's the IP request coming to the sites. Then you've got MySQL. It's the connection with the database, but we don't touch that at the moment. Okay. There is what they call the bot protection. So the second section, it's basically a way that you can activate it by default. It protects you against bot attacks, most of them, so which is pretty cool. And the interesting bits later, but we don't have to open them at the moment, but it's domain management and SSL certificate. Domain management, it's where we will declare the domain when we will be ready, and it will give us a few credentials that we have to put in your DNS to create new DNS records to point the DNS to the server. And the SSL certificate, it's to have the little lock, the little lock next to the name of your website. You've got it on your current website. It's just to show to your visitors that the website is secure. It's important both for e-commerce, for instance, because obviously you won't buy anything from a website when you don't have the little lock in the top bar. And it's also important in terms of SEO because obviously it's a sign of trust for Google. So if you ever go to a website where you don't have the little lock next to your domain name, it's usually not a very legit website, I would say. But many people forget to declare their SSL certificate, even if it's free. Most of the basic ones are free. They are just given by the hosting companies like Cloudways. But that's something we do in the end when we declare the domain. So if we come back to the access details.
And real quick you mentioned DNS earlier, and so what you're saying is once this website that we're working on, the new one, is built and designed the way that we want, then one of the final steps will be to transfer my current domain, which is rachelfutsaro.com, which is hosted on Squarespace, to a new DNS, which is hosted on Cloudways. Is that correct?
No. Technically speaking, you've got a registrar, so that's where you bought the domain. So I guess you know the name of the company. Which one is it? Where did you buy the domain? You might find it in your emails later, but
I don't remember.
There is a company where you bought the email. It could be GoDaddy. It could be.
I think it was GoDaddy. It was GoDaddy.
It could be. There are many of them.
Namecheap was what I did.
Namecheap, Namecheap is one of them. As the name implies, they are usually cheap at Namecheap. So there you have on Namecheap somewhere, you've got a section where you can manage the DNS zone. It's called the DNS zone of your domain. So it's a bunch of records there that you have. You've got what we call CNAME, for instance. So www.yourwebsite.com, it's a CNAME. Then you've got the root domain. So without the 3W is the main domain. But you can also have many subdomains. Like imagine you have You would have an application or a game that you want to host on a subdomain of your website, like game.rachelfutsaro.com. That's a DNS
Right.
entry. So you've got many DNS entries. Usually you would also use the DNS zone, where you've got to implement some checks. For instance, if you're using, I don't know, Mailgun or even Mailchimp, other companies to send emails,
Mhm.
sometimes they will ask you to authenticate your domain, and they will give you a snippet of code, and you've got to declare a TXT, a text entry in your DNS. That's where you go. So DNS is used for many different
Got it.
things, and
That makes sense.
usually your DNS is where you have acquire your domain. There are a few exceptions. For instance, if you're using Cloudflare for the CDN to distribute your content closer to where your users are, it's a nice practice. It's the best practice. Usually, then your DNS will be managed at Cloudflare. So you still have your registrar where you pay every year or every 2 years for your domain, but you change the name servers. That's called the NS name servers, and then they are at Cloudflare. If you're using an advertising company, I'm using Ezoic, for instance, to put some ads on my websites. Usually they ask you to manage your own name, your name server. So you switch NS, not DNS, NS to Ezoic, and then you manage the DNS zone at Ezoic. So it depends, but most people, I would say 90% or 95% of people, they will manage their DNS where they purchased the domain.
Okay.
And this is where we will have to, at the very end, Cloudways will tell us, okay, you've got to create a new A entry, like the letter A, and you've got to put the IP address of your server on Cloudways and press on submit, validate, and that's it, basically. And that's
Okay.
it. And then your domain will be pointed to the server of Cloudways, basically. If we go to the access details, so the first choice at the top there, you see you've got a public IP there on the right, the
Yes.
numbers. That will be the server address in the end. Yeah.
Okay.
So the next thing we will do is go inside of WordPress. So I don't remember whether it's automatically logged in or not. So what I would suggest is just switch off your screen sharing.
Okay.
Click on the button there. So not the first one, the second one, to go to the admin, and just see whether it opens the admin or not directly, or whether you have to
Oh,
put.
admin panel.
Yeah, the second choice on Cloudways
Yeah.
there in the access.
Okay, let's see. It's asking for a login.
So the login, okay, so if you need the login and the password for the admin panel on WordPress, you go on Cloudways and you add your email. That's the login. And then the password, you can just copy it, I think, by clicking on the little dots there, and you will click it, or you can reveal it and put it there. So they give you a default password at Cloudways, and
Oh,
your
I
login
see.
is email.
Yeah, that worked. Okay. So
So you're in.
I'm in WordPress, so I'm gonna share this
Okay, so you can share your
screen.
screen now. And we'll have a
Let's
look at what
and
WordPress looks like.
this is let me okay. I think this is it.
Yeah, so just share. Okay. Oh, I have to accept you again, I guess. Yeah. Boom. Nice. So we are in WordPress. That's pretty cool.
Yay.
Okay. Let me see. Okay, how do I remove those little things at the side? Okay, let me come back here and there. Okay. I've got the sidebar, and I just want to remove the sidebar.
Oh, that black sidebar?
Yeah, the sidebar with the three thumbnails on the left hand side,
Oh, okay.
because it's blocking a bit the little thing there. But yeah, let's see. Okay. Anyway, no, I would have liked to have more control on that, but yeah, if I take the little version, it's fine. All right, so we are in WordPress. Welcome to WordPress, as you can
Yay,
see.
we made it.
We made it, and it probably looks a bit like what you saw at some point on WordPress.com, because the WordPress admin is the same on WordPress.com as it is here. There might be a few plugins that they add by default, but that's it basically. Okay, so you can first hide the message there, where they say hide message at the top of the admin, the green thing there.
Oh, I
Yeah,
see.
cool. And just a few details. You can dismiss this big thing there with the cross
Okay.
there. Yeah, nice.
Dismiss.
So here you've got a series of widgets on the landing page, on the dashboard of the admin, and you can always move them around if you need, or you can even
Ah,
remove some of them, not remove them, but hide them. If you go in screen options, for instance, on the top right, just under your name there, yeah, you will see the widgets that are there at the moment. There will be other ones if we had plugin.
mhm.
And to be honest, some of them I don't even know whether anyone uses that.
Yeah.
You've got one which is called Quick Draft there on the right hand side. So
Mhm.
theoretically, the purpose of that is if you have an idea about a blog post, a new blog post, and you want to quickly create a draft in draft mode, you can do it there. I've never done it in my life, and I've created probably 50 sites on WordPress. So I've never used that feature. So yeah, but the cool thing is that if you click on the fourth one, quick draft there, you can just remove it. But let's
Nice.
remove it. The WordPress events and news, I think you don't need that.
Yeah.
You don't have any plans to go to a meetup of WordPress in the near future. I've never been there. I mean, it might be cool, some beer and some pizza, but I've never been there. Then you've got at a glance, it's quite cool. The third one, it shows you how many posts you have, how many pages you have. It's just some basic stuff about your site. The health status of the site usually doesn't say much, but you can just keep it there. The activity, when you start having comments on blog posts or some stuff like that, you can just keep it. So I would say let's keep those three and just collapse that. And here starts the fun. So I would be curious to know, do you understand anything on what's going on there in terms of is it self-explaining what you see on the
I have no idea, what I'm looking at. So, when I built my site on Squarespace,
Mhm,
I started with a template, and then in that template, it already had the whole site made in terms of the blocks, I think you would call it, but all I had to do was add my own images and then add my own text. And so when I decided to move over to WordPress, um, this is kind of similar to what I saw. And this is when I stopped because I said, I don't know how to move forward. I don't
mhm,
know because I'm also not very creative. So I can't I in my mind, I can't visualize, oh, like there should be a header and here's, there should be a block here of text and a block
mhm.
here of images and stuff. That doesn't, and like the site navigation and the UI is all kind of foreign to me on the best way to set up. So this definitely, I don't know what I'm looking at or if this is even the website. I don't even know.
Yeah. No. Okay, so at the moment it's the admin, so it's behind the scenes, okay?
Okay.
And once we will start building with Elementor later on, I think we'll finish today with just one page, but we will start moving to the front end, because you can move things around a bit like on Squarespace or Wix from the front end, so you can just
Okay.
play on the front end. But it's very nice to understand the back end first, what's
Yes.
happening behind the scenes. So by default, on WordPress, I mean, first of all, a bit of history maybe. When WordPress was created, it was a blogging tool. It was a blogging platform. So the purpose of WordPress was to create a blog with posts that were published sequentially. So if you went to the homepage, you would see the last post, and then the next, etc. Just a feed of posts. So that was the premise of WordPress in the beginning, was to be a blogging platform. And then people started being creative, and they said, okay, we've got posts, which are publications. We might use those posts for something else than a blog post. It would be nice if it was a page that was always there. So not something that disappears after 2 weeks, but something which stays always there, a page. Uh, and so they added pages to post. So a page in WordPress, if you go on the left hand side, you see you've got post, media, and page. A page is something that obviously has a publication date, but that's not meant to be something like a blog post, like a press article with a short shelf life. It's something that stays to always, like the contact page, the about page, a page describing your services. Something that's top level on your site and that stays forever. If I go on your website, for instance, you've got the about page, the contact page. Typically, there will be pages, and you've got also some pages which will be landing pages, maybe to show a feed of posts, but they will be landing pages. So there will be like the destination, and there we just put some stuff on those pages. So by default, you have two formats on WordPress. You've got the posts, which are like blog posts, like articles, but they can be something else also. But that's the main idea. And you've got pages, permanent top level content. And when we will start digging a bit deeper, we will talk about custom post type, so which are not posts, not pages, which can be anything. Like for instance, if you create a website about books, a custom post type could be a book. If you create a website about tips for dog owners, like we would do, one of the custom post type could be just the training tips. So each publication would be one training tip focused on a specific tip, but we would create a specific custom post type for that. You can also do it a bit differently if you want. You can create a post, like a tip, like a normal post, I would say, or even a page, and then you can attach a category to a post. Let's say a category of tip, or a category of book, or a category of whatever, and you can organize your website just with posts and categories and tags. But if you want to have more flexibility in the way you organize your website, usually you will start using custom post types. So that's a little bit more advanced, but we will see that. And then you've got the media section. That's for the media. Okay. That's for to publish your photos or even your PDFs or whatever. The comments, it's where you will have the comments that can be added or not to the posts or even to the pages, and you can moderate them, trash them or whatever, or mark them as spam. Usually they would be spam. I mean, we all know that. Yeah. And then we see the other one.
And so basically, like if I go to my website here, what you're saying is that so this is my current website for anybody looking at this that I built on Squarespace. And want to move over to WordPress and do a lot more with it. But what you're saying is the pages are basically what I have built here. I have a shop page on WordPress, a dog food page, YouTube page, etc.
And the landing page, the home page already.
Oh yeah, this right here, this landing page. Okay, interesting. So that's pages, and then you have the actual, what do we call it? The posts, which
I guess if you go to your dog blog there,
these are like posts.
Yeah, these are posts in the language of WordPress. These are posts,
right? In the language of WordPress, like blogs, essentially.
Yeah,
interesting. Posts, okay, that's really helpful.
As I said, some people can be a bit creative on the blog post side and repurpose the format to create something which is not a journal, which is not a blog post. It's not journaling. They can just publish anything. Let's say that if someone content would be mainly focused on products, they could even use the post for the product. Okay, that's not a problem. Nothing prevents you from doing that. But the fact is that once you start using your post for the product, then you say, oh, I would like also to publish blog post article, like news and stuff, like what you did. How should I do that? Then you got to start separating the news articles with a specific tag of news, and the other stuff with another specific tag. It can become a bit messy. So if you have a clear view at some point that I want to go all in on training tips for blog owners, and I know that I can publish 1,000 different tips, and I can dedicate a page for one of those tips very specifically. It's better to have a custom post type, because then you can start creating a template for that, a specific template for the custom post. You can start, you can be much more creative in terms of the way the way you do it. But if we had to reproduce your site as it is now, like exactly clone it, tweak it a bit, we would have mainly pages and posts at the moment,
Okay.
the way it is at the moment. And if you go to the post section and you click on all posts, you will see there is a dummy post at the moment, some useful links to get you started. Okay, a few explanations, blah, blah, blah. And so the latest version of WordPress, it's using something called Gutenberg. So they've developed their own UI, their own approach to I would say content publication. It's called Gutenberg. If you ever hear Gutenberg, it's the latest version of the WordPress editor. That's Gutenberg. What you see here is Gutenberg. And in Gutenberg, basically, you can start writing immediately on the canvas there on the page. Obviously, there's already a bunch of content pieces there. So you've got a paragraph. So that's a paragraph. The big ones, there are H2 or H3 probably. Heading 3, yes, as you can see. That's the title. Then you've got a list with links. You see, like a list format. And probably they've also shown other formats. That's an image probably. Or a CTA, yeah, and then you've got this little widget, and if you go on the tree after any element, if you go on the three little dots at the top there of the bar, which is on the top of the elements. No, just it's always a bit difficult to explain.
Oh, right here.
Yeah. You see, you can always duplicate, or you can insert after or insert before. So if you insert after, for instance, and if you type in a slash, like there you've got the different types of content that you can add to Gutenberg. So heading, like the titles, images, lists, galleries, quotes, like bigger text in the middle, audio, and blah blah blah. I think that's the main one. But if you just start typing Spotify, SP, you see you've got also Spotify. There you can just add the URL of a song from Spotify, and it will just embed directly a song from Spotify.
And will it play when somebody goes to the site if they have a speaker on?
It will be by default, if they are not logged in with their own Spotify account, it will be a preview. But if they are logged in the browser, it will be the full song. Yeah.
Cool.
And if you click on again on the little dots and you insert after, you can slash video, I think. Do slash video. Yeah, you see you've got YouTube, Vimeo, and the other one. So if you click on YouTube, for instance, it's also the same concept. URL, boom, immediate embed in Gutenberg. And okay, what we have to understand is that we will use both Gutenberg, like the default UI of WordPress, and Elementor to build more, I would say, sophisticated designs for the pages and stuff like that. But for instance, for the blog post, usually what I advise to people is to write them straight into Gutenberg like that, because it's quite easy. You just just stack content on the page, in the feed. it doesn't mean that you don't have any control in terms of templating on the front end. You can still use Elementor or even hard code some template so that the content that you have added via Gutenberg can be surrounded by some other stuff. That's, if you want always a call to action on all the blog posts, if you want always a sidebar with a sign up form or something like that, it
Hmm.
can be on a template which will surround the body that you will create with Gutenberg. But usually Gutenberg on WordPress is faster in terms of performance, loading speed, than a page created with Elementor or with another builder. So when you can add content repeatedly on WordPress, it's nice to use
Gluten.
Gutenberg. And some people create all of their website with Gutenberg, because you can also create columns, with a. I think that if you click on the after again, or if you do slash anywhere on the page, uh, no, not there, because sometimes there's like a captioning thing. But if you click again, and if you do slash, and if you start typing column, COL, you see you
Mm.
can add columns also there. So you could say, okay, I want to add like 2 columns side by side on a row. You see, so
Mm.
you can also build pages completely with Gutenberg. You could do that. So
Okay.
you could create a site without Elementor. And I would say that the less plugins you add to a website, the better it is, obviously.
Okay.
Because
Makes sense.
I see some people going completely crazy with plugins, like 50 plugins in WordPress. But those plugins tend to slow the site down. They can also have conflicts between the plugins, even if they are compatible with WordPress. So, yeah, you have to stay lean, I would say. But if you are serious about design, if you want to have a certain level of control, I would say nevertheless that it's nice to use something like Elementor. Yeah, we'll have a look to Elementor at the end. So that's basically the concept of a post. So in the right in the sidebar there, so you've got two, I would say, two options. One is post, and the other is block. So post is at the post level. So it's some stuff at the post level. You can add a category there. You can add some tags. You see, you can obviously create new categories, create new
And
tags.
would the tags be good for SEO? Is that like a
Yeah,
meta
it's
tag?
a meta. It's also a way to organize the content later. So if at some point we add a search bar, or if we want to add a page with
Mm.
tags that can be used to filter the publications, tags are nice for that. So
Good.
and you can have pages that are created automatically, programmatically, based on the tags. So let's say you've got like 10 articles mentioning furniture for pets. At some point, there will be a page where, if you go to the page, it will only be the articles with the tag furniture for the
Got it.
pets. So that's a way to do it. And tags, the difference between a tag and a category is that a category, there is a tree usually. So you can go from, let's say, animals, cats, dogs, and then the breeds. Like, there's a logic of a tree in
Mhm.
the categories, whereas with the tree being the children, the parent, the children, and the siblings. That's the
Right.
logic of categories. Whereas the tags, they are horizontal. So it's you can have tags that are shared by different categories. You can have and some people they only do with tags, and some people they only do categories. You've got just to imagine a bit what you want to when you want to create. If you are very systematic, uh, categories obviously are nice. For instance, we have a website with images, PNG images, png.com. If you go on the website, it's organized in categories, because there
Mhm.
you have the animals, and then the types of animals, and then even the breeds. You've got the countries, the cities, all. It's very well organized with parents and children and siblings.
Right.
But it's harder to maintain I mean, you've got to be very disciplined when you go with categories, because obviously you've got to keep a structure:
Right.
parent, children, siblings. Voilà. So that's for that. And then you've got the featured image. That's usually the main image. I mean, by default, it can be shown on the article itself, but not necessarily. You've got some, people who just add a featured image for social,
Mm.
for the social media image, but they don't show it on the website. Some people, they add the image and they show it on the website. And we will add an SEO plugin later on. You can also have a featured image that's called a feature image, and that's used as the featured image on your site, and an other image for Facebook, Twitter, and blah, blah, blah. But usually, I mean, that's the easiest way to do it. The image that you put in on featured image would be a rectangle by 1200 by 628, like that format of a rectangle.
Oh, so when I share, like, if I share my website link on Facebook or on the yeah, like on Facebook, for example, the little image that pops up next to it, or that's what the featured image is?
Yeah, that's the featured image, and
Interesting.
we say 1200 by 628 because it's still, even if they changed a bit their default setting, but it's still the format which works best for all of the networks, for Twitter, for LinkedIn, and
Right.
for Facebook. So 1200 by 628, and you can create images like that on Canva, like what we saw earlier. Some people, I mean, if they are really, hardcore users, they can even create the featured images programmatically. So you've got some plugins or some services where, as soon as you hit publish on an article, it will create for you the featured image with some icons, background, and the text. Maybe you've seen that uh, there are some services on the web uh, where you kind of feel that it wasn't a person that created all of those featured images, because
Yeah.
it would have been far too much work. They are created, like if you go on Indie Hackers, or I think even if you go on Reddit, they create programmatically behind the scenes all of the featured images for all the pages. But it's good to have a different featured image for all the pages, and to think about that also in terms of potential traffic, because a lot of people, they they start their browsing, their searching journey via Google Image. So if you have something that's cool there, and that's self-explanatory, that just enticing to click on, it's a good one. So because if you don't put a specific featured image on any website, what Google or Facebook or the other ones will do, they will take the first big image of the article as their default featured image. So if you have a
Mm,
big image first in the article, if you don't have featured image, that would be the one. But then you don't have control on what you want to put on that.
mm.
So it's good to have a featured image, not only on WordPress, on any website.
It makes sense. It's kind of like, when I upload a YouTube video, the thumbnail image, you want it to be interesting to click on, so it sounds like it's a similar, tactic.
Yeah, exactly. And to share something with you, so I resumed working on a website recently about music, and so I started creating, articles about, what's in the news, like the gossip and all that stuff. And
Mhm.
the quality of the thumbnail, a bit like on YouTube, gives you more chances to be featured on, what, for instance, Google Discover. And Google Discover these days can bring more traffic even than Google search. So if one of your stories gets picked by Google Discover, so that's in the feed of the mobile phones running on Android. You've got Google Discover, this
Mhm.
programmatic feed that you see. Then you can just skyrocket and have a few thousand visitors in a single day. But
Wow.
it's mostly because, I mean, the title is good, the thumbnail is good. They see that people click on the thumbnail in their feed, so you get more traction, and all that good stuff. So that's also a reason why thumbnails are nice. And not only on the blog post, but also on the pages. Create a
Mm.
specific thumbnail for each of the pages. Obviously, you've got to pay attention to your own page, because when you share your website, you want to have a thumbnail there which reflects what you have on the home page, but also any other page, like if you have a service page, a contact page, about page, whatever page, you have also there a featured image. So just put a feature image
Right.
that communicates something there. Excerpt is just I never use that, but it's like a little summary of the article. It's usually what will be used by Google if you don't use an SEO plugin, but we will use an SEO plugin with a description there, meta description. So
Great.
we don't really use the excerpt. Discussion on WordPress. I would say
Mm.
usually I deactivate everything. Sometimes I might use a plugin, even an external service like Discuss, for instance, to manage the comments, because it tends to be the first source of spam. Not that
Yeah.
it's hurtful for the site, because by default they are not published. They are, if someone adds a comment, by default they would be in moderation mode, but it's really a pain. So usually I just untick that and allow pingbacks and trackbacks. So it's something that WordPress developed in the early days. Even between WordPress sites, if you are cited, if you are quoted in another website by WordPress, and you've got this pingback function activated, it can tell you basically where you've been featured, and even internally between your own articles. But the problem with that is that usually it's a security breach that some people can exploit because of the tech that's behind that. So usually I also untick it, and
Disable it. Okay.
you can untick that by default for all of them via the settings of the site, so you don't have to untick them manually for
Okay.
each of them one by one. So that's basically what a post looks like on the post tab. And then the block tab, the second one at the top there, it changes every time you are in front of another type of block. So you can change the text, the background, the color of the text, the background, the link. You can change if it's a text, the size of the text in the block. And then some details like the padding around the element, the border or not around the element. So the second tab, it's block level control. The first tab is post level control. The second tab is block level control.
Can you set site settings for the standard text, the standard background color, the standard typography settings, so that it kind of automatically pulls in?
We will do that with Elementor,
Okay.
actually, but you can also do it via the appearance settings in WordPress. If you would use the WordPress theme and only Gutenberg, you could also do it site-wide. Yes, obviously. Cool. And then, we'll probably in a few weeks we'll talk about CSS, just for all the little tweaks. You can do basically anything you want with CSS. So that's it. Let's maybe exit this page. Just click on the W on the left hand side, and probably we'll be back to the admin. Okay. If you click, if you just under the word dashboard, if you go on home, just click again on the word dashboard and then home. Home. Sorry, on the long URL.
Visit site.
Yeah. So just to show you what it is at the moment. So at the moment, it's a default page where you've got featured, as you can see, this dummy post, some useful links for you to get started. So that's what it is. Nothing on the right, a title there. So if you scroll down, probably some widgets by default. So what we will do first is we will have a look at where you change the default homepage. So if you come back to the little W at the top there, and maybe under dashboard, sorry. And if you go to settings, so in the sidebar,
Settings.
And then you've got reading. Okay, So at the moment, the home page by default, because of the history of WordPress, how they started, is the latest post. So someone who creates a WordPress site, by default, they have the latest post. And they could just keep it like that. They could just use it for blogging and they say, I just want to have my latest post. But if you want to put like a page there, you can choose a static page there. And there you can select which page will be your own page. So if you have a look, there's probably a sample page there.
Hmm.
So just click on the select button. Okay, and then save changes. Yes. And if you go back to the home page now, so if you click on the big URL there and go back on the home page, visit site, you see that's a page.
Oh,
Page. So
so it's
that's
not
different.
just the first blog. It's a static like
It's a static
landing
page.
page.
Yeah, it's a landing page. And you could start building your site directly in Gutenberg, because if you click on the edits side there, you
Oh.
see it shows you basically this page, and it's Gutenberg directly, just as we saw. And I think that if you click on the cogs there at the top right, you will see top right of the screen,
Mm.
cogs there, settings. Yeah, you see you've got the two tabs that we had before, but it's a bit different. It's called
Yeah.
template, uh, and it's also called block for the blocks. So that's basically the home page at the moment. But we won't use, for all those pages, we will use Elementor, which is a
Right.
bit different. I mean, it's same kind of concept, but a bit more control. So we will in 2 minutes install Elementor. Um, and that's it. But we saw, yeah, the difference between now a page and a blog post. Maybe the last thing I would do before installing Elementor. So if you click on the W again,
W.
yeah, uh, maybe to go back a dashboard, to go back to the admin, yeah. Or maybe, yeah, let's click on pages, and go, yeah. You see the page that we've just seen, the sample page is
Yep.
there. And if you just go under it, you've got edit and quick edit. If you click on edit, it will be a slide. It's a bit different. It's more like what we saw with the post, because when we clicked on the button edit site, as we've just done, we
Hmm.
were in a kind of front-endish approach. So it's a bit like Elementor. So it's more like building from the front end. Whereas if you
Right.
go behind the scenes, like what we've just done now, and you click on the edit button, you land on something like this, where you've got page and block, whereas you had post and block for post. So, but it's the same. You see featured image, all that stuff.
Yeah.
The only difference is that by default, you don't have categories and tags for pages.
Mm.
You have
Mm.
categories and tags for post, as you
Okay.
can see. Okay, let's click on the W again. Switch back to the admin, and I want also to go to settings again. And there you've got something called, okay, a cool thing, something which is super funny, um, like an anecdote. If you go on Google, and if you type between quotes just another WordPress site, you will have truckloads of websites which haven't changed the tagline,
That's funny.
which were indexed just like that. Maybe they changed the title, but they didn't change the tagline. So yeah, it's nice in terms
Make
of
sure you
promo for
change
WordPress.
that. Yeah.
And you can change already the site titles. You can put Rachel Futsaro there, for instance, at the moment. You can change it later, but
Oops.
in
Yeah.
yeah, there, Rachel Futsaro. And then if you've got something like your baseline, which was like romantic, I don't remember, but there was something about romantic, or hopelessly romantic, about helping dogs and their humans, or something.
Yeah.
You can put that at the moment, or you can put something more descriptive if you want.
Yeah.
And so at the moment, the URL of the site, it's what we've seen. So it's just like this big weird address. In the end, obviously, it will be replaced by your own domain.
Yeah.
But we cannot change it manually, because if you change it now, okay, something important to know also for people there behind the screen. So you might be tempted to say, oh, my site in the end will be rachelfutsaro.com. So let's change it now. Let's just put my URL there. but then it will just change it in the database, okay, in the database of the site, and will just kill it, because obviously it's not connected to the domain, so it will end up in a big white screen of death or even a 500 error. So it won't work. So don't change that. Actually, you will never have to change it manually. It will be changed automatically once we declare the domain.
Good to know.
So there's some stuff about languages and the place where you are, and so we don't have to change it because you're in the US. An important bit is if you go on in the site there, you've got something called permalinks. So you got permalinks in the sidebar actually. Sorry, permalinks. Yeah. So permalinks is the structure of the URL. Okay. By default, in WordPress, it's the ugly permalink like with the index.php. You never see that in real life. I don't even know why it's like that by default. By default, what you have usually is the name of the domain. So imagine that it would be rachelfutsaro.com slash the name of the post or the structure of the site.
Right.
So it's post name. So you have to choose the other one, like post name. So the one just on top of custom structure, post name, and then go down and save everything. So now it will be the structure that I expected with the post name. So that's important, because otherwise you just end up with something that's unreadable. So you have to do it like that. And some people also, they are tempted to put, like months and name or day and name or whatever, like the dates, but we don't. I mean, that's not the way you see websites. Usually websites, it's the domain / and then the name of the page or the URL. So that's it. And I think with the basic stuff, we're mostly done. So the first thing we will do is, if we go to appearance, so in the sidebar there. So at the moment, the theme of the site by default is one provided by WordPress called 2023, probably. Yes, and you've got two of. I mean, you could just go back to the one of last year, 22 and 21. That's just WordPress themes. What we want to do is pick a theme which actually doesn't have so much importance, but which will be behind Elementor Pro that we will use to build the website. So what we will do is pick a theme that's built and maintained by Elementor. So, they know their stuff, because obviously it's their theme, it's quite lightweight, and it's compatible with Elementor. So if you click on Add New there, and if you and it's even the third one, it's just after WordPress, Hello by Elementor.
Yeah.
So if you click Install, okay, then you activate. Okay. We will already install Elementor. Let's do that. That's the free version.
This one?
Yeah, we need the free and the paying one later. So, and then plug in Boom. Let's do that. So Elementor is okay. Let's keep it at the moment. That thing, all that thing. We will add the other one later. Skip.
Yeah, skip. Okay.
Skip at the bottom. Boom. Skip everything. That's fine. Okay, so that's Elementor, but let's move back to the admin. So if you click on the little cogs at the bottom there, I guess no, or just the last one there. Yes, settings. Maybe let me see on the burger menu at the top. Maybe I just want to go back to the admin. Exit. Okay, yeah, let's exit.
Decide later.
Decide later. That's fine. Okay, so now we are back into a pause, and let's click on the W again, and we'll be back. We'll be back here. Okay, so we have installed Elementor. So maybe what we can have a look at now is what the home page looks like with the new theme. So if you click on the little house at the top, and then visit sites. Okay, so that's the new theme. I mean, it doesn't feel very exciting.
Yeah.
It doesn't look amazing, but that's the new theme by Elementor. Hello by Elementor. So the next thing that we will have to do is create actually with Elementor our first page,
Ooh.
and basically maybe end the session today with that. So
Okay.
that would be the home page. So let's maybe clean a few things before that. So let's go back to the W and to the admin, and let's go to the post. Let's go to post and just delete that post. So trash it. Yeah, you can trash it directly, or you can trash it via the menu, I guess. But you can trash it. Yeah, let's trash it, and let's trash all the pages also. So go to the pages and trash all the pages, and we will create a page. So we'll start with a page. Okay, so let's add, oh, maybe one last thing, maybe let's add a plugin for the SEO so we can show the SEO. So okay, let's remove also the plugin we don't need. So let's remove Akismet anti-spam there. You see delete, or you can delete it directly there. Also the Hello Dolly at the bottom is just a dummy plugin. Okay, you can update Breeze. So what is Breeze? Breeze is a caching plugin from Cloudways. They have installed it automatically, and we can update bot protection also. That's it. That's fine. Okay, and let's add another plugin. So add new at the top, and we will add. So type Yoast. Y O no OAST Yoast. Okay, so let's take that one, install, and it's always install and activate. That's easy. And you've got okay, just skip everything. So yeah, okay, by default, you don't have any boxes on the pages and on the post to add the title that you want to see exactly on Google, the meta description that you want to see exactly on Google, and as a meta on Facebook. So it's nice to have a plugin like Yoast. There's also Rank Metrics to add those pieces of information to your posts and to your pages.
And
So
that's to help with SEO so
yeah,
that we
that's
can
the
get
SEO
more.
plugin. It gives you control on the metadata, and there are many other settings that we'll probably explore in a full session because it's just obviously something that requires a bit of time. But I wanted to add it because that way we already have those things in the
Okay.
Oh, I've just noticed that I think that if you click on settings again
Settings.
and on yeah.
Oh,
No,
skip.
not those
Oh,
settings. The setting of the site. Sorry, not the settings of the plugin. The settings on
oh,
top.
that is the
Yeah,
yeah. The settings. Okay.
yeah. You see, it's you haven't saved the change of Rachel Futsaro when we did it.
Oh, I
Yeah,
didn't save
yeah.
it. You're
Let's
right.
do it again because it's a bit disturbing to have that stupid. Okay, and then save that. At the bottom, save changes. It's saved. Okay, so now
Yeah.
you see it's being replaced. It's better because now if you go back to the home page, let's go back to the home. Oh no, there's nothing at the home page. No, we'll see later. There's nothing at the moment on the page. We have removed all the pages. So go to pages. We'll create the first page. Voilà. So you can add new. And usually, what you have to understand is that you start with Gutenberg, and you can just keep it like that. But then you will move to Elementor. But the first bits of information, we usually put them inside of Gutenberg. So the title of the page or of the post, the SEO stuff there. You can also do it in Elementor, but it's easy to do it here.
Okay.
So we'll do it here. And then we will click on the blue button, edit with Elementor to really create the page. But let's first say, just call it welcome for the welcome page or welcome to my site. Okay, so don't put anything there. That will be created in Elementor. Then you can just put your name, first name and last name there, Rachel Futsaro as the focus keyword. So focus keyword, it's usually the focus topic, the topic of focus of the page. And And actually, when you put something in that box, if you populate the other fields, so the SEO title, the meta description, and the content in the article or on the page, you will see the little smiley there, gradually switching from red to orange to green. Some people are chasing the green all the time, but actually sometimes it can be good even if it's not green. But yeah, it gives you like an indication. So the SEO title. So where you have like four purplish thing, you can remove all of them. So you delete. You just do mass delete there, delete with your yeah, and you can say Rachel Futsaro's official website, for instance. That's basically what people would see on Google. You see?
Oh, it shows you. Nice.
Yeah, and then you've got the meta description under it,
Hmm.
and there you can just write something that would describe your website, basically. And the idea is that usually you would at least have the keyword in the focus keyword, in the title, and in the meta description. So if the focus keyword is Rachel Futsaro, you should write a text which, in one way or another, quotes your name. That would be better. Yeah. Okay. And you see the orange progress bar. Usually, you write enough content so that it becomes green without
Okay.
becoming red. But yeah, we won't take too much time for that. But it takes a bit of time for each of those posts to, kind of craft the meta description, the title, and pick that. So we won't add any featured image at the moment. So what I do usually is I save the draft. So if you on the top right of the page, you save draft. So you save the draft. Now it's saved. And we will switch to Elementor. So you just go and say edit with Elementor. And so now you are in Elementor, which is usually a bit easier to use. We don't have any header at the moment, any footer. We keep that for the next session. At the moment, we just keep the what's populated by default with the name of the site, so your name and the tagline and blah blah. Just maybe click on the little cross to close the navigator there. The navigator, yeah. And there's one thing that we will change, and usually I do it for all the pages and the post, all the pages I create on Elementor. That's if you go to the little cocks, to the settings at the very bottom there, yeah, you've got page layout there. So we've got different page layouts. If you just show what's in the drop down, what's in the drop down, I can see it.
Default Elementor canvas, Elementor
Oh,
full width and theme.
it's funny that I don't see it. You click
Oh,
again. Huh?
yeah.
If you
That's
click
weird.
on the arrow, I don't see. Yeah, it's funny. I don't. You see them, and I don't see them.
Yeah, I see them. So it's the four
Okay.
options are default and
Mhm.
then Elementor canvas, Elementor full width and theme.
Okay. So just to explain, the default, it's like that. The problem with the default, problem, it can be a problem, is that it shows by default the title that we've given to the page there, as you see, welcome. Okay. We don't
Right.
see that. We want full control on what's there. The
Right.
second one, I think
Elementor
the
canvas.
canvas, it's something that you can use for some marketing landing pages. It's a white, it's a blank canvas without header, without footer, like a big white page, like a big white board. You
Hmm.
can use that for some of the pages if you need them for marketing and stuff, but that's a big white canvas. We won't use that most of the time, but you can do it. And the third one is Elementor
Full
full
width.
width. We will
Mhm.
pick that one, and then you just hit not publish. You just go where the green button is, and you do save draft. Save draft. Yeah. Okay. From time to time, just save the draft. So now it's really a white page. You've got different things you can do. I mean, we haven't installed Elementor Pro yet, which will give you all the control.
Mhm.
But you could start with a template, a bit like what you did on Squarespace,
Squarespace.
or we do on Wix. They provide like magical ready-made templates. I think that if you click on, I don't know if it's by default there, but if you click on the main page, so on the main section where the folder is there, the little folder, you see you've got templates for pages there. So you've got,
Oh.
so if you imported something like that, that might be an option. You would have what's on the screen there, immediately populated on the page, and then you can start moving things around and blah. For instance, the fourth one for a restaurant, kind of, it looks a bit like what you had on Squarespace, And it's
A little
some
bit,
of them,
yeah.
they're pretty cool because it's a good vibe. There are some animations and stuff. That's a way to approach it. Or you can go fully freestyle and start from a blank canvas. So maybe because we don't have so much time, actually what we can do, and we can always change it, is take one of those and explain the sections of one of those instead of doing from scratch. Or would you like to do it from scratch? What would you like to do?
No, I think template would be nice because I'm more visual. So
Mm-hmm.
this can give me an idea of, okay, what it might look like. Because from scratch, I don't really know the best way,
Mm-hmm.
the best approach.
But everything is tweakable afterwards. So even if we
Okay.
choose the template, we can remove all the stuff, we can change the color, everything. But it's a good starting point. And usually they have good taste, I would say, even maybe better than my own taste. So yeah, it's a good starting point. The
Do I
one,
just pick one or
yeah, just the one you
maybe
really want.
blog? This one just says, oh, it's a design blog. I don't know.
Some of them, you see, you need to go pro, but
Oh,
you have a pro account, so maybe we can install the pro
well,
plugin.
we
But
can just pick, I mean,
yeah,
just
you
for
just choose
time's
to
sake.
see if
Here,
there's one without pro. You see, it's
this
Go
one's.
Pro to get that one. You see,
Oh,
Go
you're
Pro.
right.
But you've got your pro account. So maybe let's install the pro plugin so you can choose any of them. Otherwise, we'll just be limited. So
Okay.
just close that, the X. Let's go back to the admin because we need to put the plugin. It will take just 1
Well,
minute.
I have the download. I downloaded it and
Yeah,
saved
yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But we will need
Okay.
to upload it.
Oh,
So
I
just
see
go
what you're
back to the
saying.
admin. So exit this
Um,
thing. I think it's from the burger menu at the top. Exit. Yeah, exit.
exit.
Yeah. And we go back to the W, and yeah, let's go back to plugins, and we will install the thing that you downloaded. So there you can add new, but upload it, not add new, and then
Upload.
upload plugin. Yeah. So yeah, so you will upload the plugin. Yeah, and so you install it, and you will activate it. And the only thing, when we will be at the activation stage,
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
activate
There we
it.
go.
You will have to basically go to connect and act. You see, connect and activate in
Yeah.
purple there. So you do that, and yeah, that's you. So activate it because you're there behind the scenes. So
Yeah.
it's already there. So yeah, so now you're active. So now if
Okay.
we go back to the pages that we had, pages there,
Pages.
because I think we've got, yeah. So now you can do directly edit by Elementor. You see, edit with Elementor. Boom, directly straight into Elementor.
Nice. Okay.
So now we go to the folder,
Folder.
and then
Pages.
we can just
Pick
choose one.
anyone.
Yeah, because now you're pro, so you can pick anyone.
Gosh, I don't know. Let's see. Did any stick out to you?
No, I like the one, the restaurant one, the very beginning. But as I said, we can always change it. So
Here. Oh, I just clicked out of it on accident. Let's
now I think you've
do
got to insert. Yeah, you've got to do insert, the green button. Yeah, apply.
just do this one.
Yeah. And you can also, I mean, it's not advised to just mix match everything, but you can also have use a template for one page, another one for another one. You see. Okay, so don't pay attention to the top because the header, obviously we can change it later.
Okay.
But But as you can see, it gives you already, I guess it's a bit the same on Squarespace, the same kind of idea.
Yeah.
It gives you an
Yeah.
idea of the structure, which is usually, it's inspired by Bootstrap. So it's rows, it's a grid of sections, rows, and columns, basically. That's what it is. And then inside of those places, you've got images, text, videos, list, call to action, whatever. Um, and you've got control on each of them. So you can directly change them out. You can either do it, maybe here, yeah, it's, what is this? Is this text? Or if you click on it? Yeah, it's a letter, it's letter by letter. Probably they have done something. Yeah, you see,
Yeah.
it's because there's probably an animation. That's I mean, it's probably super creative, this page, but there's probably an animation around the letters, so they just
Mm.
include one by one the letter. But
Mhm.
if you go down, so you've got images that are centered. Just click on one image, because I'm curious to see how they did that. Yeah, no.
Oh, weird. I can't.
Oh no, just click. You have to
Oh,
click. Sorry. Oh, okay. So maybe just to, if you have to go back, you've got the third button at the bottom, where you've got a kind of timer icon there on the
third
sidebar. No, down, 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 down.
down.
Next to the cogs, the very bottom of the sidebar.
Oh.
Yeah, the third one. You've got like a
Oh,
time. Okay, let's go back to the one of the two previous versions. Okay, that's
there we
it.
go.
So that's the way you correct it. But each section, you've got a little icon like an edit pen on the, and even the sections. If you go down where we had the image, you see there, you see you've got the little,
Ah,
okay, and that if you click there, this is what it is. So it's here. It's a call to action. So a call to action, it's a type of structured content where you've got content, and so if you click on content on the site, no,
oh, I
content
see.
there, you see there's an image there.
Oh,
There is text. So there's a button. So that's one of the modules. Actually, if you click on the grid at the very top of this thing, of this column, you've got a grid there, and that's all the modules you have. So you've got truckloads of modules,
wow.
and each of the modules, basically, you just drag them into the canvas
Okay.
if you want to use them.
There's so many more options than this.
Yeah,
So
there are
Squarespace
pros and
had something
cons.
like this,
Uh,
but
there are pros and cons, but starting with a template versus doing it yourself. I would say the pros is that some of those designers have very good, very creative ideas. The cons is that you've got to kind of reverse engineer what they did to understand what they wanted to do. So is it a
yeah.
call to action? Is it something with an animation, and instead of writing a title in one block, they wrote it letter by letter just to have a movement? So you've got
Mhm.
to understand what they did, to reverse engineer what they did, and add your own stuff on top of it. Also, the problem if you start with a template is that those designers can be very good, and once you start adding your own stuff, there's a big difference between your level of expertise and their level of expertise. And
Yeah.
so it looks completely crap what you add on top of their
Yeah.
beautiful template. So that's pros and cons, but it can give you a good starting point, good inspiration. You're also not forced to have a full template of a page. There is also this concept that you can add sections and have templates of sections, just blocks of sections. You
Yeah.
see, not a full page. So you can start by blocks of sections. But what I think we will do now probably is close the first session with that. So let's publish this page by the way. Let's
Save
just
draft or publish?
publish.
Okay.
So, and we will assign that page as the home page. So now if you go to let's go back to the menu. So the burger menu and and then exit. And we go back to, and then not Facebook, WordPress, and then settings, and then reading, the third one, reading, the third setting, sorry, reading. And then static page, and let's choose the page we've created. Okay, and let's save this thing. And then go back to the little house at the top with your name and go and see the page, the site. Voilà.
Oh,
It's there.
fun.
So, yeah, as you can see, there's some animation. You see
Oh,
beauty.
yeah. Let me do it again.
That's why they did it letter by letter, because each of the letters is animated to move like beauty.
Like
Hair, you
that.
see hair?
Oh, I love
That's
it.
why.
Nails.
Yeah. So
Oh, that's so fun.
yeah, so that's a good. Obviously, that could be a starting point where you would say, okay, I have to put something of my own into all of those boxes.
Yeah.
That's a constraint which is good in terms of creativity. Also, say, okay, I put a photo of me there, which is kind of taken in the same way. I write a big title there, or subtitle. So you
Mhm.
see, you can go that way, and probably I don't know if Flair, FLAIR, if it's an image or if it's letters. If it's letters, you got to change the letters, but
Yeah.
might be an image. Uh, Under it, it was something that was moving. I saw it earlier.
Yeah, this was moving. I
Yeah,
don't
but
know.
you see, yeah, that's a good one. It's, I mean, and you can feel it was created by a good designer.
Yeah.
The balance is pretty good, and all of that
Yeah.
is good. So
So
yeah,
basically, I could go back, after this and go look at all of the templates and kind of maybe start picking one or, maybe narrow it down, like really take time to look through each of them
yeah,
and maybe pick one.
yeah. And as you can see, also usually they're good in terms of the font combinations that they choose. I
Mhm.
mean, they're good. I'm more like a techie guy. I've got my limitations in terms of design. I mean, I can feel the balance and stuff like that, but I'm not a designer by trade.
Yeah,
So
same.
those guys are
Neither am I. Yeah. So this will be
so
cool.
those
I'm
guys are
excited
pretty good.
to go through. Yeah, I'm excited to go through the templates and see if there's any that really speak. This one's good, but I want to look at all the others too, just for fun
Yeah.
and see.
Yeah. So maybe we can
Cool.
just recap for the end, because I found a nice
Yeah.
feature here on Restream. I just show here on my screen what we use for the hosting, as you can see, Cloudways.
Oh, fun. There you go.
Yeah, Cloudways. And then we use also today Elementor Pro, the visual builder. I will leave some links, obviously, in the description for that. And we also used together for the intro. We use Canva, and people can find you on rachelfutsaro.com.
Hmm.
That's where they find your current website, which we will gradually replace.
Yep.
You can find me on callmefred.com, where you can read all the stuff about what I do. Thank you for the first session. So then we will just decide where we will go next, and we will be back probably. I think, yeah, we've already said that we would be back on the 8th of March. I think,
Hmm.
for the next
Yep.
session. So in the next session, we will concretely build the first pages together and dive a bit deeper into Elementor, and you will see all the things that you can do with Elementor. Voilà, so it's been 1 hour 30 minutes already.
Wow, that's long, but I've learned a ton and this is so valuable because I think having a good understanding of how my site is built and the foundation of it is going to make everything else easier, faster, and I think it's really important. So I really appreciate it.
Cool, perfect. I mean, it's quite amazing to be confronted to someone and get all the questions, because obviously
Yeah.
after you've done it so much, I don't ask myself maybe always the basic questions. So it's nice to have all of your questions. And so in a few weeks, brand new website that will be built
Can't
in
wait.
WordPress and Elementor. Thank you everyone for those who watched the video. It will be posted on my YouTube channel, and you will be able to see it forever. It will be forever there on the channel, and we'll be back next week for another video building the new rachelfutsaro.com. Thank you so much,
Woo!
Rachel.
Thank
Bye
you.
bye.
Bye.